Blessed Wednesday. It is Quay, and you're now tuned in to Apply Where Necessary, the podcast where you take what you like and you give the rest to someone else in need. If you're watching this versus listening, you can see that I'm in a different setting. I am in LA, La La Land, instead of my home in Brooklyn. Mama needed a break. So yeah, on a little break, I left. We'll get into that. Anyways, today's affirmation is, it's coming. It's coming. So I woke up and I took a couple breaks from affirming. I was on vacation mode. I just be giving to my Instagram followers and just people these affirmations. And no one ever sends me. Some people send some back, but anyways, I was like, let me be in the moment, in the present. I affirm every day. And then today I just woke up and I just it's coming. And there's no sure definition or intention behind the affirmation, rather than everything I desire, you desire, whatever you desire, it's coming. It's coming. Whatever it is, that job, that man, that girl, that clarity, that move, that book, that business, that investor, whatever it is, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And peace is coming more so. So for me, it was more so that just everything that I just want, desire. I know it's coming to me. I was hesitant on press and play because when you are, well, I don't know if some of you know, but when you are advising people, in certain areas of their life, and you feel like you're not fully settled in one area of your life, it could become kind of hypocritical or kind of contradicting, I guess you can say, to try to to advise. And I have to always remind myself, I'm not trying to advise, I'm not trying to be a guide, a lifestyle guru to anyone. I'm just expressing whatever I'm feeling in any given moment, in given day. And I know someone else out there is feeling what I'm feeling, been through what I've been through, or is going to go through something that I just overcame. And so that's really what this podcast was bred from. So today, or this past month, I've just been rocking on edge, and that's because one of my personal relationship, intimate relationship, isn't at its best standing. And if you know me, I don't really let people in too much. And when I let someone in, and whether it's a close friend or family member or loved one, lover, when there's any friction in that relationship, it messes with me. It kind of disrupts my peace, and I'm learning, for that not to be, because in reality, we're going to have situations that we're going to have obstacles in our relationships. Like I said, any type of relationship, there's obstacles that comes. There's things, there's feelings, there's emotions that are being challenged and tested within any relation you have. So one of my things that I'm working on is, keeping that peace, maintaining that peace in friction, that peace in problems, because it's very, very possible. Obviously, I love to feel things. I love to feel emotions. That keeps me human. It keeps me okay, you're not ice cold. You do have something beating there. No, for real. So there's this little thing, and it's been bothering me. Because I really care about this person, and my mistakes, his mistakes, there's mistakes that have been made, that has us where we are now, and getting through it. I ask God every day for clarity with what I'm doing in life, where I'm going. Am I making the right choice, God? Just every day I ask, please provide me clarity. Allow me to see the things that I can't see. Just guide me. And so today's affirmation more so is confirmation of being heard. I know he hears me. Life is, aside from me, my feelings been feeling. I feel really grateful and happy to be who I am and where I'm at this moment. My mind is clear on things. I've changed my perspective on so many things thus far in this year alone. I just feel better. I feel like I am going in the right direction. I'm moving towards the right things, and that there's some things coming that I've been asking for, whether it's been for years, months, or days or minutes. I know it's coming. And so I'm choosing to have faith in God that even in my intimate relationship, like, clarity and peace is coming. It's coming. It's coming. Misfortune is coming, honey. But what really sparked me and, put a little pep in my step and made me smile a little bit is I went back on the season 1 finale of Apply Where Necessary. And I just seen myself just talking my talk. And it's exactly what I needed to hear. So it's really important for me as the host to tell you guys, to communicate that the things that I'm saying are also for myself. And I'm human. And I feel the things that I'm talking about. And the reason I can talk about them is because I'm feeling them. Or I see someone go through it and I feel like I'm able to add a different perspective to this conversation. But the season 1 finale is where it's basically telling us to understand that we're in divine order, per se. We are exactly where we need to be in this moment. So I'm sorry, my nose is a little stuffy. 1 second. So yeah, for me to have come across that episode and to be feeling whatever I'm feeling now, it was refreshing. And it was like, guys, get back on that podcast. Why are you running? Like, why are you running from things just because you feel, you're feeling some type of way? Why are you running? You've been called to do this. This is a part of your journey. This is part of your healing. This is a part of your request for clarity. This podcast is like a diary to me. It's like a diary. I'm able to really be vulnerable, and it's like I never know who's listening to these episodes. I never know who's listening. I just put it out there because it's on my heart and it's on my spirit, and I feel like I need to release it. So here we are, and the theme is, as I said, it's coming, and just confirming with yourself that you've been heard. And if you're not being heard, you need to exit those situations or that whatever you're in, and go where you're heard, and make sure you're hearing people too. I think that's the theme of this past month is listening, and listening in multiple ways. So when we speak to God, we speak to spirit, we're not getting a verbal response back. It's more so throughout the things that are happening in life, and alignment, and just what we experience. That's our response. So you're doing exactly what you asked. You ask God for this, and you do what you need to do to make it happen here on earth. And things are falling together. That's alignment. That's being heard. That's God responding back, like, I hear you. Here you go, and then some. So that's the form of listening. And another form is with individuals, with humans, in your human communication, listening to what they have to say, and not listening to react or respond, but truly listening to someone. And I am a great listener, I will say that. However, I have my areas in some relationships or conversations where it's like, but listen to me, like, okay, I hear you, kind of, and it's not intentional. It's not at all. However, I'm aware of that, and it's been brought to my face a lot. Not to say I haven't been doing it, but it's just been brought to my attention, and I feel like it's good to touch on. It's just like the art of listening, truly listening. My goal is to be a great communicator. I'm not the greatest. I value it, but I'm not the greatest. So I constantly go back inside myself, and as I soften up to criticism, I hear people more when they tell me certain things like this, and this, and I'm like, all right, so you love this. You loved when I did that. I seen your reaction when that happened. We made that exchange. Okay, great. Now I know. And I'm like, ooh, I see your face turn up a little bit when I said this, or just observing people. Observing. Listening isn't just for response, like I said, when God speaks to us, it's through the things that are happening in our life. When we speak to another human, it's also through, their verbal interaction, or verbal responses, or just that verbal form of communication. It's also through the things that they say, even outside of our one-on-one conversation. They could say certain things like, I am desiring like a new laptop so that I can start this new business that's going, Or even, I just love going to the beach. Like, I just love it. There's certain things that people say may not be direct, but if you're listening, you'll catch it and you'll know how to handle that person, or you'll know more about that person versus you asking them a question and trying to get that direct response. People extract their desires and their feelings and emotions and such through indirect conversations. So it's a matter of listening. And I've been practicing listening more, because I've always had to think singular. I always have to think for myself and to make decisions for myself, aside from your family, obviously. But I've never really been attached to someone and in a relationship where I really had to think about them per se. Like, obviously I think about them, I care for them. I'm gonna do everything I can to care and show you that I care, and I want to receive that back to me. But it goes beyond just those surface level things. There's a lot of other things that happen, interdependence that occurs when you come in union with someone, whether it's intimate or there's other forms of that with relationships with your parents, or your mother, your sister, your friends. Those are things I've had to really learn, that knowing that I've always got myself and I always got people, I had to learn how to receive help and take a step back, but also be interdependent, with someone. So that comes with this journey of like I said, this month, learning to listen to people. There's a lot of signs. There's a lot of clarity that's already out there. We sometimes just choose not to see it, or we're so focused elsewhere that we don't see it whatsoever. Even if we won't give ourselves a chance to choose. We just so zoomed in on something else that we miss it. We miss it completely. This weekend we went to an escape room. We went to Palm Springs for my sister. We're about 10 months apart for her birthday. And it was about 8 of us girls. So that was definitely a challenge, dealing with 8 different type of personalities, and knowing that I have really a big type of personality, big energy, big body quay. And so I had to water myself down a little bit, but not in a bad way where I'm diluting myself. I just definitely had to go deeper in. I'm like, all right, Quay, it's time to practice what you've been learning by yourself in real life with other people. And this time, not just 1, 2 people, it's 8, 7 different people. So that was really cool. It was really beautiful. I love doing the self-work. I'm not gonna lie. I love it. I just love seeing the evolved version of me. I love watching myself do things, watching it back, or I just love me so much, and I honestly love to improve. Once I understood the ignorance in the phrase, how I am. They know how. I've been pushing myself further and further away from that, and I'm like, no, it don't matter who you are right now. You're going to be different. You're going to evolve. So don't even kill that statement where it holds you back. Be open. Be open to being a better version of yourself. There's no, I am. People should not have to conform to who you are. You should obviously exude these positive things that influence people to do the same for you, to you, that reciprocation. You should also be willing to shed yourself of the not so beautiful parts of you, so that you can fill yourself up with better parts and just grow into this amazing, incredible human that God put on this earth. Okay? So yeah, there was some more self-work that was done this weekend, but we went to an escape room. And it was my first time in an escape room. Some of the girls went to escape rooms before. We get in there and we get the instructions, we basically know we have an agenda, we have a goal, and we need to seek out these different clues in order to get to this goal. I'm gonna tell you, Palm Springs escape room was trash. What? They had clues that were no one could think of. Type on the typewriter slowly, type the word slowly so that the thing can pop. Who thinks of the speed? Just crazy. But within that moment, I seen a lot of things. I seen my error in thinking and my error in focus. I seen it, and I walked away although this was a little boo-boo, I'm aware of how I overlook some things, you know? I'm fully aware of, how I could pay more attention to like what's around me. I could pay more attention to things, and in return, that would spark your creativity. That would eliminate 10 errors. You may be making 1 error instead of 11. Like paying attention and like really seeing like what's around you for what it is, not what you want it to be, really helps set you up into a new level that others aren't, because others still have their blinders on, like where they're just straight television. Television is beautiful, but like if you're just straight like this, how are you going to see the activity and the movement and the growth and the opportunities around you? You can't see what's coming if you don't set yourself up for it to come. You don't set yourself up for you to see it when it comes, because not everything is going to be direct. Like I told you earlier, we have to listen for things that aren't directly being said directly to us also. So we have to search and seek and be aware of things that are not directly in front of us. We have to just have a full, well-rounded view of things. We have to. How else are you going to see what's coming? Or affirmation is coming. How are you going to see it if you aren't really paying attention? That works out. There's a mirror behind me, and like I have this crazy breakout, and so I'm like looking behind this mirror like, okay, this cheek look good, but what happened over here? Like, can we get it together? We were doing great. Anyways, self-care. Make sure you care for yourself, love yourself in whatever phase you are in. Love yourself in your ugliest phase. Only you can define what the ugly phase is. Ugly is ugly. I ain't judge nobody, but ugly is ugly. It don't feel good. The gut is turning. Something's happening. Something's not right. Something's off, and that's ugly, not the physical. Love yourself in the exact phase position that you're in, and always be open to growing into a better version of yourself. Sorry, I'm really tired. It's been a week, and like I'm in LA. I ain't doing that much. I ain't even been working out, but we're gonna fix that. I'm still tired and mentally drained. One thing I will say, as far as this pursuit or this, how would you call it? What would you call it? Just on this journey, of you doing actions and you're giving and receiving journey. And that is the topic of this podcast, is the giving and receiving. And if you've been given, you've given of yourself, you've given of your resources, you've given of your time, you've given of your emotions, your feelings, your logic, your knowledge. You have to be ready now to receive it back, because you've been pouring and pouring and pouring, you pour on your sweetness, your goodness, and you have to put that cup down and be refilled. This is really an emotional time, and that's emotional in two ways. Like I feel two extreme feelings right now, and I know there's someone out there that too feels these extreme feelings of like, I feel so good, but like this right here, and it's just, you're human. Not everything in life is going to be perfect at 100. Not everything. There's always going to be something that kind of irks you, until you really master peace. And I think that's when things, do get better. I'm not going to say it's completely impossible, for that peace and that feeling of like, I have no issues, no worries. Like, that happened. That can too happen. It's just perception on how you see, a problem or not. Because there's some people that the problems that you are going through, what? That's not an issue. That will never be my issue. That's not an issue to me, and that you could probably say the same about them. That's why I always tell people, never judge someone based off of their income, because a lot of people think most of our problems are financial, and they are to an extent. And they're like, they have this, so they don't feel. No, that rich person still may have no parents, or can't have children, or bad attitude. There's a lot of things, and you have to remember people are human. So stop putting people on pedestals. Stop putting yourself. No, put yourself on a pedestal. And put people on a pedestal. Put yourself on a pedestal and know, like, this person ain't me, and I'm not that person. Our lives are designed different. I'm built different. They're built different, and what's mine is coming to me. But one thing I will say, like I was before I went on the rant, is just know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, start to learn yourself. Dig deeper into yourself, and really that should be your goal before you even try to interact with a friend, a man, a woman, a parent. Know yourself. Get familiar with yourself so that you know what you can tolerate, so that you can know what you can give, so that you can know your boundaries, so that you can know where you're going. You have to know yourself. Once you know yourself, like I said, less things bother you, because you're always able to find your happiness, because you know what makes you happy. So you're able to quickly, I hear this, this kind of got my nerves, my emotions, got me a little angry for a second, just for a second. But I know myself, and I know how to bring myself back out of that angry place. I know how to bring myself out of and away from that trigger. I know how to handle people in a way that is favorable to me also. When I say that, it's not like, fuck people over. That's not what I'm saying. But you go to sleep and you wake up in your own body, so you have to make sure you're always right. So when there's relationships or friendships or situations that contradict your happiness, that don't bring you peace, and that isn't so unfavorable, you have to talk to yourself and say, how much of this am I willing to take? How much of this can I handle? Is it worth it for me to apply this energy and give of myself in this way? Is it worth it? Do I see something positive coming from this? We have to ask ourselves these questions. So today I was asking myself, for the past few days, I was asking myself these questions. And like I said, I wouldn't waste my time with anyone or around anyone that I don't want to be around. So when I choose events to go to, or parties or gatherings pre-pandemic, I knew, like, okay, I'm this way. I can spend about 20 minutes, 30 minutes in this event or right here before I kind of get on the edge, a little moody, and I'm projecting my pleasantries onto other people, which I do not want. So I know this is my maximum. I can communicate that, and I'm good. So just applying that formula, that method to other areas of our lives, of like, this is how much I can take of this type of behavior, or these type of conversations, or this type of energy. Like, just knowing yourself, it saves us from headaches. And you're human, so you're not exempt from feeling whatever you feel. You're not exempt from investing yourself and your time in someone, and being invested in. Maybe it doesn't work out. Like, you're not exempted from that. We're not exempt from failure. We're not exempt from failed relationships, failed conversations, failed business deals. We're not exempt for any of these things. It can happen, but if we do pay attention and we focus, we can minimize how many times it happens. I do think that. I think there are error in the way we do things, error in our decisions, in our choices, in our actions, that do cause some things in our life to happen, or cause other people's responses to something that we did. I do believe that more and more as I mature and as I become more aware of self. So it's really it's possible, but it's still in your control. What you allow will continue. If we allow greatness into our lives, and majority of just things that make us feel good, creative endeavors, like, if we add more of that, we will continue to get that. But if we, compromise ourselves in our mental health and our being, and we stray away from ourselves, and this is not for the blame game on someone, of someone doing you dirty and you still being there. It's like I said, it's the vice versa. It's the balance between whatever your wrongdoings are, or this person's wrongdoings. You have to go back to, why did I do this wrong? Like, what was my error in thinking that resulted in me taking that action? Why? You only answer to that. And then, like, why did I even do that? Or like, why did I allow this person to do this? And you have to figure it out. We have to learn how to stop blaming people and to start going inside of ourselves and figuring out the whys first with ourselves before we try to say, you made me do this. It's your fault. We gotta stray away from that because it's not healthy. It's unfair. Yeah, but right now I'm in a phase of life where I know there's change coming. There's some big change where I'm craving a change. I keep telling people that I'm ready to move into an international city, and I'm gonna keep projecting that. I'm gonna keep saying it until it happens because I think that's what I know that's what I want to do at some point in my life. And I don't know how long or when, but I know that's what I want, and it won't be until I actually am able to do it that I have more clarity on like the next steps. Sometimes we are so far into like planning out our future, and I'm a planner to an extent, but I have to learn you don't have all the answers yet. You have to go through some experiences for you to become aware of what's experiencing. I just want to jump in here and just reassure someone out there who may be feeling what I'm feeling right now, or even feeling great at this moment, just to know like more is coming. Greatness is coming. Everything that you've asked for and more, it's coming. And we just have to trust our journey, trust God, have faith in God, have faith in ourselves, and know that we're doing everything that we can do to get closer to that. You can't control anyone's feelings. You can't control anyone's interactions, reactions, words, the way they think. You can't. We have influence on people, and we can project that, but no, you can't control. Just allow people to operate the way they want to operate and maneuver accordingly, and understand that the same for you. You operate how you operate, and know that someone is watching that, and the way they perceive it is up to them, how to handle you and deal with you. But it's based off of how you handle and operate and maneuver yourself. And anything that contradicts or goes against that, let's learn to cut it loose. We don't have much time left, or we just don't know how much time we have left. Sorry, that got really dark. We don't know how much time God has granted us on this earth, and so it is too short to be super sad or frustrated or angry or bitter or any of these things that does not fuel us in a positive way. Life is too precious for that. It's okay to feel in the moment and to have these emotions and feel it, but we just have to make sure we're not dwelling on that right now, just knowing that it's temporary and that there's more coming. However, don't live too far ahead in the future. Like, you have to take this information and guidance. You have to be careful with it, because it's not, some people go too extreme and like, okay, so forget everything that's going down. It's okay, I'm thinking about tomorrow. It's coming, whatever's coming. No, feel now. Be present now. But in that now, train your mind to understand that a second just passed, another second just passed. Like, time is moving. Excuse me. The more I'm aware of this, the least amount of time I can spend doing things that I do not like or things that don't make me feel good. You see? There we go. Being aware. Just be aware and just know, believe, and feel. And call out for it. It's coming. So that's my note for this week. Thank you for those who are listening. I appreciate you. I love you. Until next week. It's coming.